Welcome everyone to my implementation plan for Education 732. My name is Captain Ramirez, and this is my implementation plan based on one of my dissertation recommendations. So let's jump right in. My problem of practice can best be summarized using the 4 W's. That's who, what, where, and why. Who, company grade officers. What, receive inadequate leadership development from their field grade officers. Where, in the United States Army. And why, because field grade officers do not effectively execute the develops others core leader competency. Now you're probably wondering, what are company grade officers? What are field grade officers? And what's this develops others core leader competency? Well, I'll tell you. Company grade officers are junior Army leaders who typically lead between 16 to 200 soldiers or serve as junior staff officers to senior commands. Field grade officers are senior Army leaders who typically command or lead 300 to 3,200 soldiers or serve as senior staff advisors to senior command teams. The Develops Others Core Leader Competency is a guide to aid United States Army leaders in their subordinate development, and they consist of 4 components. 1. Assessing the developmental needs of others. 2. Counseling, coaching, and mentoring. 3. Facilitating ongoing development. And 4. Building team skills and processes. Why is this important, you ask? Well, for one, developing leaders effectively ensures positive, effective, and fostering traits of leadership are passed between generations. 2. It is the responsibility of field grade officers to ensure their subordinate officers receive the development owed to them to perform their duties as leaders according to Army Doctrine Publication 6-22. And 3. Leaders who lack proper development by their senior leaders will fail to properly develop future leaders due to a lack of developmental experience and knowledge, which affects future generations of leaders.
So who benefits from effective leadership development from field grade officers?
Well, the primary key stakeholders are company grade officers. However, other people can benefit too. Who are these other individuals? Soldiers, field grade officers themselves, the United States Army as an organization, and you, the citizens of the United States.
Are there any barriers for company grade officer engagement?
Well, the primary barrier for engaging the key stakeholder group would be the lack of participation from field grade officers. Some field grade officers might assume they do a good enough job already and do not require additional training. So to ensure fairness and equal development among the key stakeholders, direct engagement and max participation from field grade officers to their company grade officers is required. If you are wondering what successful leadership development looks like, it's when all leaders conduct themselves as leaders and lead their subordinates, not by position, but through actions. When leaders mentor their subordinates, foster environments conducive to development, and empower them to be leaders, that is when leadership development is successful. Aristotle once said, "A just act alone does not make an individual just. It is the process of conducting just acts and doing them in accordance with proper knowledge of their acts that individuals become just." And I honestly believe the same thing applies to leadership. Therefore, I recommend the establishing of a leadership competence training program, a leadership development course that would be no longer than 14 days but no shorter than 7 days. The proposed learning program would be aimed at introducing field grade officers with teaching and coaching styles on transformational leadership theory, reinforced through practical exercises. The program would see to the creation of a leadership training course that would instruct senior leadership with valuable and updated leadership styles, while focusing on the importance of proper leadership development of junior leaders using transformational leadership theory. The program would be conducted in person. However, it could also incorporate a train-the-trainer system to allow full reach of senior leadership within the United States Army. As mentioned, The transformational leadership theory is the basis of this recommendation. The transformational leadership theory is the leadership style that draws emphasis on developing and changing people, transforming individuals to effective leaders by focusing on 4 factors. 1. Idealized influence. 2. Inspirational motivation. 3. Intellectual stimulation. And 4. Individualized consideration. Now, how do we adopt transformational leadership theory? Well, the 4 factors that serve as the foundation of the transformational leadership theory could be used as a guide to connect to the development capabilities of field grade officers. This development would then influence the 4 developmental factors related to the develops others core leader competency, which will then impact the professional and leadership development of company grade officers. But now you're probably wondering, what resources would be needed to implement this plan? There are 3 main resources that are needed. 1. Time. 2. Money. 3. Patience. Time, because this program will not be effective overnight. It will take a few years to see full results. Money, because sadly, without money, nothing can get done. So funding will be needed to do the following. 1. Conduct research for 1 year prior to conducting live courses. And 2. Sustain the course for the next 10 years. This includes instructor and student pay. And finally, patience, because everything that will make this course a success will require time, and lots of it, such as creating a training program design, obtaining organizational certification for instructors, and maybe even civilian and university collaboration. So, how do we get these resources? How do we obtain them? Money. That goes back to the second resource, most likely from the Army educational budget. There are 3 main goals to this plan. 1. Improve leadership behaviors conducted by field grade officers. 2. Improve leadership development among company grade officers by obtaining 33% after the 3rd year of program implementation, 50% after the 4th year of program implementation, and 75% leadership development after the 6th year of program implementation. And 3, increase overall field grade officer effectiveness executing the develops others core leader competency among company grade officers by 90% no earlier than the 7th year. And of course, we want to create a leadership program that puts DEI front and center. The educational teams must stem from all ranks in the Army and not limited to only senior officers. Proven Army leaders, regardless of rank, should be afforded the opportunity to become course instructors. Remember, leadership is not a noun, it's a verb. So how do these goals translate to success? By achieving these goals, field grade officers will effectively execute the develops others core leader competency. This will then lead to company grade officers being adequately developed in their leadership potential. So, success translates to properly developed company grade officers by their field grade officers. How do we evaluate this plan? The Center for the Army Profession and Leadership would be ideal to manage data collection. They already conduct yearly leadership development data collection on the Army. Next, we need to look at the 2nd to 3rd years of this program's existence. The Army would need to conduct online quarterly evaluation surveys among all company grade officers to determine if company grade officers who are led through course graduates feel as if they are being properly developed. Then, from the 4th to 6th year, we would do the same survey but only do it biannually. Starting on the 7th year and every year after that, we would conduct the same survey, but we would do so annually. To get this plan communicated to those that can make it happen, we would have to start at the organizational level for complete buy-in. This would be done through the explaining of the benefits of conducting transformational leadership theory competence programs among senior leaders. This explanation could be conducted in many different fashions. There's the boring in-person lectures, the death by PowerPoint, or the time for a nap videos. Bottom line, a mixture of all 3 methods should be conducted while sharing statistical data that proves transformational leadership theory is effective. And when all else fails, we just explain how other organizations have benefited from similar programs. I propose 5 key waypoints. 1. Approved budget for research and sustainability. 2. Instructor training certification program achieved. 3. 300 student instructor graduates in the first year, and I would like to see this number increase to 500 per year starting after year 3. 4. Mobile train-the-trainer teams created by the 6th year. And 5. Inside the units of graduates, I would like to see a 25% improvement in leadership development by the 2nd year, 33% by the 3rd year, 50% by the 4th year, 75% by the 6th year, and 95% by the 7th year. Are there any challenges to this plan? I can think of 3. Organizational mindset. Why? Because the Army might say there is no need for another course that will waste money on a concept that senior officers should already know. Participation mindset. Why? Because field grade officers might think, what worked for me in the past still works for me today, so it should work for me in the future, so why should I attend? And resources. Why? Well, because money to implement this plan may not be available. To navigate around these 3 barriers, research-driven data would need to be the voice of reason. The data needs to show a need for official leadership training and that key stakeholders want their senior leaders to learn different styles. I would like to thank everyone for their mandatory attendance for my presentation. Thank you, and like always, fight on!